Hey guys, another thing that you want to fish is laydowns. What a laydown is a tree that has fallen in the water. That's just a term that they use for them. They're called laydowns. But I always fish the laydowns. Laydowns, they provide a lot of shade for the bass. And they also a good place for the bass to go and feed on smaller bait fish. So fish all the laydowns. Like there's several down through here. I would fish each and every one of them good. And then when you get past the laydowns, I would stop fishing and go on to the next spot. As I always fish past the laydowns before you get to the laydowns, but you'll save a lot of time if you hit just the laydowns. You waste a lot of fishing time fishing everything in between sections where there's not laydowns. Now, when the laydowns are this close together, yes, I would fish in between those two. I'm not going to do it today because that's not what I'm fishing. But fish all your laydowns. There's, as you see, about 2 or 3 more laydowns on this side here. And after you fish those, rather than fish that wall that you see down through there, I'd skip that wall. There's another laydown across the lake over here. I'd go over and hit that laydown. And there's also a laydown back to my left right up in here. I'd go up and fish that laydown. I'm not fishing these today because I got other things that I'm going to be fishing. But hit all those. Now, when you come to a place like this here, and you've got get that thing tangled. You've got all this brush. I mean, all these limbs hanging over the water, and you got a good shade there. That's something you do want to hit. Just cast up close to that shade, and if you can skip it under it, that's great. But if you can't, I'd still throw around all that down through there because that is some good shade. And on a good sunny day, I'd hit all that down through there too. Because the bushes are hanging over the water. In here where I'm fishing at, it's got a lot of grass on the bottom, and it's not a good place to fish a worm. Most lakes, or a lot of lakes, do not have grass all in them like this one has. But see, there's a good laydown right there. I'd be sure to fish it. Just work your bait slowly around it. Stop and twitch it a little bit. Like that right there. Let it go to the bottom. Hold it in place and twitch it some, then ease it on in. But I'd throw out, 2 or 3 more. I had a hit right there when I was fixing to reel it in. I would take and throw out around that one 2 or 3 more times at least. And it depends on how many laydowns you got, is how much time you should spend on them anyway. But all this bank right down through here looks good now. Most banks do not look as good as what this one does. One thing that looks good about this bank, besides just the bushes hanging over, is all the rock in the water. If you see rock on the bank, there's going to be rock in the water in front of it. Now see, right there was a fish. Felt like a little one though. But I'm stopping and just easing it in and just twitching it in the water in place, and hopefully that fish come back and hit it again. But that's what that fish was on. He was on the rock and the shade. If it had not been for the trees hanging over the water and the rocks in here, I'd have hit nothing but that laydown. That's a little fish. He's tapping on it again. He felt little. But I'm gonna hold it in place. See, rather than move it because the fish is right here at me, I'm just gonna barely twitch my rod and hold it in place. And if you're up off the bottom, which I think I am, if they don't hit it where you're at, I'll let it go on back down to the bottom. You know, try it a little more. But like I said, that felt like a small fish anyway, so wasting time on that fish is not the best thing to do. And as you can see, I'm fishing the shaky head with a green pumpkin worm. I'm gonna fish down through here a little bit further with this worm, I think. Seeing as this does look so good. See if I can pick up another. I mean, I did have 2 bites in that short section right there. And as you see on down through there, you're gonna get back out in the sun. But even if you get out in the sun, if you've got rocks in the water, you still want to throw in those areas too, because there's still shade around them rocks, and there's still bait fish in there that bass will be feeding on. But all these overhangs, that makes it really good. See how I cast right up under that overhang in there, back up in the shaded area? That's what you want to do, is get into the shady section of it. This whole bank down through here really looks good because of all the overhangs that's over the water. So yeah, I would fish this whole bank down through here. See, right out there in that shaded area, right there at them overhangs. When it gets in the water, just while it's in place, just barely tap your rod like that right there and make that worm twitch real slowly. Let it go onto the bottom, twitch it just real slowly, just barely bump it in the water, and then kind of work it on in, but do it slowly. And when I get out away from the bushes like that and I hadn't already got a bite, then I'm gonna go ahead and reel it in and throw again into another one of these shaded areas in here. But all this looks good right in here, real good. And there's no need getting way out there in the lake. If the place that you're expecting to get the bite is up close to the bank, get up close to the bank and throw parallel with the bank or at a 45 degree, either of the two. But don't get it way out there in the lake and cast, because between this and out there where you'd be sitting, and try not to throw in the bushes like I did right there, but it come out. And I have to check my worm, see if it messed the worm up. It looks like the worm's still in good shape. But when you're fishing around the bushes, you might well expect you're going to get in the bushes some. That's just to be expected. But like I say, this is kind of sunny right in here, but there's a lot of rock out in the water because all that rock is on the bank there. Rock don't usually stop just because it gets to the water. What you see down close to the water is going to be out in the water too. Now right in here, there ain't much of a shade under those overhangs there. So what I do is just skip over that. And then let's start hitting it again about right in here. And see, there's some bushes in the water right there, some old limbs that's been laying there. That's a good place for one to be. I feel like I may have a little grass on there now. I may be getting back into a grassy section down here. Yeah, I got some grass on there, a bunch of grass. Don't like all that grass. It come off right there though. Now see right there's an old lay down in the water there. That's a real good spot for big old largemouth to be laying in there. So I definitely throw down alongside that lay down that's in the water there. Hit all the lay downs. And I'm gonna skip over that section there. I don't particularly like the looks of it. You can't get back up under the overhangs there. So you're basically gonna be fishing out in the sun, and also it looks like all the rocks have stopped in that area right back there. Now right here's a really good looking lay down. They should be something around this one. But this is a really good looking because it's also got all those leaves on the top of it, and that's going to give extra shade. And if you get on out away from the lay down and you hadn't got a bite, I'd pull it on in. That lay down goes out through there a ways, so I'm going to throw on out in there and let it go to the bottom. But that's a really good looking lay down right there. There should be a fish on that. Right there he is. He let go of it. So he let go of it. I'm just going to keep it in place. I'm going to twitch it a little bit. Right there in place. I'm not going to try to move it any, because he'll come back and hit it a lot of times if you don't move it. No, he didn't hit it again. I'm going to throw back up in there though. There's a good chance he will hit it. See, my worm's still intact. If I had jerked that hard, that worm would be all scrunched up, and he definitely would not have hit it again. But he just didn't hold on to it. I'm gonna get it back up in that tree right there. There's some limbs coming out this way too though. See, just twitch it in place. If you get on some limbs, like I'm on some limbs right in there now, rather than trying to pull it away from the limb, just twitch it in place a little while. A lot of times they'll come up there and hit it while you're doing that, but if you don't get a bite, then you can work it on in. I want to get right back out there in those thicker limbs that's right out in there. Let it go to the bottom. And then when it gets on the bottom, do the same thing, just hold it in place and barely tap your rod. See if you can entice him to come up there and hit it. There, he hit it again, but he let go of it. But see, I hadn't spooked him yet, so he'll probably hit it again. There he is. Now that's what I'm telling you. Uh-oh. He just, yeah, there he is. He come back out. He took me under the limb, then come back. That's a big fish, I think. Yeah, that's a good fish. Yeah, that's a good fish right there. He's not real big, but he's pretty good. See, that's what I'm telling you about the fishing these laydowns. Perfect example of what you can do is that right there. That's about a, I don't know, 17-inch fish, I guess. But anyway, I was persistent, and as close as I am to that tree, I just dropped it back off down in all those limbs that you can probably see right in there, held it in place and just twitched it a little bit. And that's what produced, that right there. So, hit them laydowns, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll do some others on some other places that you can fish a little bit later on. But that's it for today. I'm fixing to go to the house. It's dinner time.